Hello, and welcome to this 30-ish minute restore class. In restore classes, as always, it's always good to have your props. So if you have them, it's good to have them, but if you don't, that's okay too. So you don't need them, but I always like to have a pillow or a blanket. If you have your blocks, it's always good to grab them. You don't always need them, they're just there for extra support. So whatever is comfortable for you, whatever feels good to you. You have your blocks, and we are just going to do a little restorative flow, kind of focusing on not necessarily one area of the body, but trying to stretch out as much as the body as we can today. So just a mix of a little bit of everything. So if there's any shapes that you prefer, you can always go into that. So here in the month of July and August, as much as I can teach in August, we are focusing on slowing down and being in the presence of God. And something that really spoke to me this morning is from the Bible app. I started a little plan, and it is from Luke. I actually don't know. It doesn't tell me where it is. Luke 1, I think it's like 40 something to 50 something. So I don't have the exact. Oh, here it is. It is 47 to 55. And this is from the Passion version. So I'm just going to read it once. It's a little bit longer, nothing too crazy. But we're just going to focus on these words. And this is actually speaking from Mary. So see if you can just calm the mind, the body, just take a moment here before we find our gentle movements. And throughout these practices for the next few weeks, I'm just going to give some modifications for expecting ladies. So remembering to be even more gentle and kind with our bodies, not overdoing it. Maybe it helps if you want to sit on a pillow like I am, or maybe even place your shoulder blades against the wall. I really enjoy like sitting up against the wall, just kind of making your spine straight. Or maybe you want to lay down. So that we're just going to be here for just a few moments. So before you hear these words, see if you can just breathe in through the nose and just sigh out through the mouth. And just find a few more of those on your own, breathing in and breathing out. Each breath, see if you can just sink deeper and deeper into this present moment. I'm hearing these words from Luke 1. My soul is ecstatic, overflowing with praises to God. My spirit bursts, my joy over my life living God. For he has set his tender gaze upon me, his lowly servant girl. And from here on, everyone will know that I have been favored and blessed. The mighty one has worked a mighty miracle for me. Holy is his name. Mercy kisses all who fear him from one generation to the next. Mighty power flows from him to scatter all those who walk in pride. Powerful princes he tears from their thrones, and he lifts the lowly to take their place. Those who hunger for him will always be filled, and the smug and self-satisfied he will send away empty. Because he can never forget to show mercy. He has helped his chosen servant Israel, keeping his promise to Abraham and his descendants forever. Just kind of noticing what sticks out here in this space, just taking a pause. Something that spoke to me the most was verse 53, where it says, those who hunger for him will always be filled. So taking this time to just bask in God's presence, to hunger for him, to slow down. Just take one more big breath in and a gentle sigh out. Maybe placing your hands on your heart or on your knees, wherever you feel comfortable. Lord, we just thank you for this sacred space. We pray that we will grow closer to you and learn to be present with you. Learning to have this ecstatic joy, learning to have this hunger for you, that we choose you in everything that we do. Maybe we start our day with you, we end our day with you, but we're able to carry those feelings, those moments, those times throughout the day. May we come back to our breath and come back to your presence in every moment. In your name we pray. Amen. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open when you're ready. If you want to stay on your pillow, you can do it. You can do so. Maybe just putting a little extra seat underneath your tailbone there. We're just going to start in our seat if you're not already there. And remember, as we talk about this, I always like talking about this present moment, this time with God, slowing down. So in order to slow down, we have to become present. Like, we can't really be present if we're doing a million things at one time, if we're multitasking, which I do like to multitask, but we don't get the best of, we're not fully present in one thing. So being able to slow down and then being able to be present. So being present is really being in the moment and really being here in this space. And what helps you do that is your breath. So throughout this practice, if you find that your mind starts to drift, like I always say, make sure that you're breathing and taking even maybe a deeper breath in. And if counting helps you, you can always do that. So go ahead and put your hands on your knees, and we're going to just start with the neck. So we're going to work our way all the way down throughout our whole body today. We're not going to stay in anything long. So if you want to pause this recording, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to kind of stay focused on one area of the body a little bit more than the other, that's okay. So if you want to find these gentle circles, you can find full circles. Maybe you want to find half circles, just kind of rocking your head side to side, maybe looking side to side. I personally love the head roll. So in my practice, I've been kind of really focusing on the neck, just kind of getting into those spots. So even if you want to kind of stay in one spot, maybe bring your ear closer to your shoulder, roll the shoulders down your ears, maybe pause there, maybe pause even looking up. Pause looking down, whatever feels good to you. And see if you can maybe even close your eyes and soften your jaw. So making sure you're not clenching your jaw. If you're circling your head, maybe even circle your head the other way. So lovely, being gentle and kind on the neck. Maybe you even want to take your palms and bring them in behind your head, elbows out wide, and then just kind of bring your chin towards your chest. So not only are you getting your neck, but you're getting your shoulders too. Think if you can breathe in those sticky spots. You notice where you're holding any tension, and just take a pause. Knowing that your hunger for God will always be filled. And remember that God can never forget to show mercy. Maybe you want to stay here, focusing on the neck, or we're just going to move down to the shoulders. So interlace your palms behind you, and then just go ahead and stick your heart towards the sky and just get into your shoulder blades. Breathing in, breathing out. So really breathing into the shoulder blades, breathing into your heart. Maybe you even want to point your gaze towards the sky, really breathing into that heart space. Cool. It's really opening up. It's really tight in there for me personally. So see if you can just breathe into that. Notice where you're holding any tension. And then gently come back to center. Reach your palms towards the sky. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So just flowing just a little bit. If you need to rearrange the legs, you can always do that. Reach your palms up towards the sky. Big breath in. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Taking your biggest breath yet. Inhale. And then exhale, hands to heart center. So lovely. Taking that pause. Maybe place your hands on your heart. Just kind of maybe even noticing that space you've created in your heart. And choose to stay seated and do anything that we've done so far. So if you want to focus on your shoulders, your chest, your neck, your head, maybe even your wrist, if you want to kind of roll your wrist, or we're going to move to our tabletop. So move your bolster out of the way for now. We'll come back to that later. And go ahead and move into your table. So I have been, if you're expecting, which I like to show the modifications for an expecting mama, I don't really do a lot of cat and cow. You don't really want to focus on the abs, or because most ladies, your abs separate. So you don't want to kind of come into cat and cow. So what I like to do is hip circles. So since I am due in my 8th month of pregnancy, which is crazy, I'm just kind of preparing my hips here recently. So I've been doing lots and lots of hip circles. So if you're like, Lauren, I'm over hip circles, you teach your hip circles like every class, then you can go ahead and come into your cat and cow. So just kind of whatever feels good to you. Maybe even kind of just rocking side to side. We're just going to get into that side body. It's now like more of the midsection of our body. We're kind of just working down. So just kind of go to whatever feels good. If you want to do a mix of hip circles and cat and cow, you can go ahead and do that. See if you can spread your fingers out wide and really stack your shoulders over your wrists. Take your knees about hip width. Breathing in and gently sighing out. If you're finding those hip circles, just go ahead and circle those hips the opposite way. Maybe choosing to stay here in your cat and cow, hip circles, or any other thing, any other shape that you might want to find in your tabletop, or bump your right foot off the mat, reach out, root down into your right palm. So see if you can really spread your right hand wide, extend your left leg long, coming into your side angle, reach your left hand towards the sky. So if this is too much, remember that you can just stay in a more restorative shape if you like. We're just going to really get into that side body for just a moment. So reach your left hand either towards the sky, or if you want a little bit more for your side body, reach your left hand towards the top of your mat. See if you can really open that heart once more towards the sky. Breathing in, breathing out, really lengthening your side body. Remember being present, breathing in every shape. And then gently come back to your table. So we're just going to find that shape on the other side. Extend your right leg long. Reach your right hand either high towards the sky or towards the top of your mat. I just love this stretch. It's really lengthening all the way to your fingers, to your toes. Really getting into that side body, right in those rib cage. See if you can maybe open your heart a little bit closer towards the ceiling, and then come back to your tabletop. So you can either stay in your tabletop, or we're just going to do one down dog. So just kind of what I love about down dog, and I say this a lot, it kind of I don't know if you stretch every muscle. I wouldn't probably say that, but it feels like you're stretching a lot of your muscles. So sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm so tight, or I haven't done yoga recently, sometimes I just get into a down dog. So if you want to, go ahead and get into your down dog, spread your fingers out wide. Reach your hips towards the sky. Remember, if you're expecting, take your feet out wider, depending on where you are in your pregnancy. Lightly bend your knees. And then see if you can really get into the legs, into the shoulders. Maybe even lift and spread your toes a little bit. Taking one more big breath in. Maybe reaching your hips up a little bit higher. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe pedal out the legs. Now moving into the legs, the hips a little bit now, just as we move. Trying to touch every area of the body today. And then gently come back down into your tabletop. And then gently come back into your seat. So something that I've really been enjoying, which I haven't really ever enjoyed much, is double pigeon. So I've been teaching that a lot. You can go to wherever you feel that feels good to you. So if you want to find figure 4, half pigeon, or even this diamond shape, you can go ahead and do that and just hinge over your hips. Where I want you to focus, if you feel comfortable, is on your hips, because we focused on the neck, the shoulders, the middle area, and now we're going to focus on the hips. So if you want to stay here, you can, or if you want to come into that figure 4, it's a little bit more intense, stacking your right leg over your left, you can go ahead and find that. You can also come into lizard if that's comfortable to you. If you have a block and bring it underneath your right hip, you can do that. So if you've been practicing yoga for a while and you prefer a certain hip stretch, I'm going to invite you to go there now. This is your practice. You want to make sure that you're listening to your body. So see if you can just take a few breaths here. If you're in your double pigeon or fire log pose, maybe you want to hinge over your hips a little bit more. But see if you can really breathe into the tension. So the more you practice, especially these hip poses, these hip stretches, you'll be able to breathe through the tension. You'll be able to learn to soften. And see if you can really be present here. Just letting everything go and hearing these words once more. So just taking a little bit longer to just pause here in these hip stretches. My soul is ecstatic, overflowing with praises to God. My spirit bursts with joy over my life-giving God. For he has sent his tender gaze upon me, his lowly servant girl. From here on, everyone will know I have been favored and blessed. The mighty one has worked a mighty miracle for me. Holy is his name. Mercy kisses all who fear him from one generation to the next. Mighty power flows from him to scatter all those who walk in pride. Powerful princes he tears from their thrones, and he lifts up the lowly to take their place. Those who hunger for him will always be filled, but the smug and self-satisfied he will send away empty. Because he can never forget to show mercy. He has helped his chosen servant Israel, keeping his promise to Abraham and to his descendants forever. Taking one more big breath in, maybe even holding at the top and then sigh it out. And then just gently move to the other side. So remember, knowing that one side is different than the other. Maybe stacking your left leg over your right, maybe coming into a lizard, figure 4, half pigeon. So wherever you are, see if you can really breathe into those hips. And just marinating in this verse, maybe something else sticks out a little bit brighter for you. You can soften your jaw, coming into this present moment. Maybe making your breath more audible, more alive, more sound, more oceanic. So just really making your breath sound like that wave in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Especially if you're preparing for birth like I'm doing, it's very important to just really find that breath to calm the mind, to calm the body. Wherever you are in your journey, it's just important to just find that presence, to just slow down the heart rate, just breathe, finding one more big breath in, gentle side out. And then go ahead and bring the palms of your feet onto the mat, and just windshield wiper them back and forth. Then go ahead and extend your legs out wide. So just working on the legs just a little bit. See if you can kind of rotate your thighs out, and then maybe even grab your block, bring it on the outside of your right leg, and then windmill that left arm up and over. See if you can flex your feet. So now getting into the legs, the side body, kind of mixing it all together. See if you can really get into your feet too. So maybe flex your feet, point your toes towards the sky, and then just gently make your way over to the other side. Maybe grabbing a block, maybe not, whatever is most comfortable for you. And gently coming back to center. Maybe even hinge over your hips, coming down onto your elbows or a block, keeping those feet flexed towards the sky. Lightly bend your knees, getting into the legs a little. Remember, you can stay in any shape that feels good for you. And then just go ahead and point and flex your feet. So we're going to focus on the feet for just a little bit, just a moment or two here. Since we've got most of the body, if there's any other shape that you feel like we missed, you can go ahead and find that now. Or just point and flex your feet, getting into those toes. If you want to stay here, you can, or a really good toe stretch is, I forget what it's called in Sanskrit or yoga. Actually, I'm not really sure. Coming into your hero's pose. So you can choose to just stay here if you want to just take a break. Just kind of taking a moment to just be, or you can go ahead and peel your toes under, making sure you're adding that pinky toe. So sometimes that pinky toe kind of needs to be guided there. And you're really going to stretch out your toes. So this feels really good. This is a really good shape to stretch out your toes, to really practice grounding your feet into the mat, because you're really learning to stretch out your feet, stretch out your heels. A lot of the times we forget about our feet. So see if you can just take a moment or two here. This is kind of uncomfortable. So if you just want to breathe through that, you can. You can come out of it at any time. Making sure you're breathing. Taking one more big breath in, and then slowly come down onto your palms, and then just lightly tap the tops of your feet. So lovely. Maybe point and flex your feet, maybe even rotate your ankles a little bit. Come into your child's pose, or if you feel called, maybe just one more downward facing dog, just kind of noticing how you feel a little bit more open. How this down dog feels different than the one we just did a few moments ago. And then gently make your way to your child's pose. Take your knees out wide, you want your pillow or blanket, you can go ahead and add that to add a little bit more restoration. And then just go ahead and find rest as we prepare for our final resting pose. Just kind of absorbing all the shapes. Absorbing in the presence of God. And just settling here as you hear these words. This is from Psalm 118 from the Passion. This is the very day of the Lord that brings gladness and joy, filling our hearts with glee. So this day, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but this day, this present moment, this present day, is the day of the Lord that brings gladness and joy, filling our hearts with glee. Taking a big breath in, gentle sigh out. You choose to stay in your child's pose or gently come into your seat, extending your legs out long. Maybe hinge over your hips, coming into your forward fold. Just focusing on that low back a little bit. Maybe you want to stay here, bring the palms of your feet together, knees out wide, and just hinge over your hips, getting into your hips, getting into your low back. Just one last little bit. Seeing if you can really slow down that breath. Or you can choose to stay wherever you are, gently make your way onto your back. And then just finding whatever you need here. Maybe it's a figure 4. Maybe you want to find a supine twist. Maybe you even want to find legs up a wall or a waterfall. Just taking it, whatever you feel like you need. Maybe any parts of the body that you feel like we missed. Just go ahead and find that now. Remember, if you're expecting, you don't want to find too many twists. As your belly grows, you might just kind of avoid certain shapes altogether because they just feel different, which is okay. So just taking time to just find whatever you need. Taking one more big breath in. Exhale, sigh out. And then just surrender here in your final resting pose, adding any props or anything you need. Taking one more big breath in. Open the mouth and sigh out. Shavasana. Breathing in, sighing out. Maybe just finding one more of those. Breathing in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Finding your little movements, feel good morning stretch, maybe even roll over to one side. Taking time to just thank yourself for showing up today, thanking God for always showing up, for always showing his mercy, for always filling our hunger for him. And just learning to pause in his presence, to slow down, just be. When you're ready, gently make your way to your seat. Maybe even place your hands on your heart. Taking one more big breath in. Gentle sigh out. Lord, we love you so much, and we just thank you for this present moment. We thank you for allowing us to move our bodies, to stretch our bodies. And may we just have this hunger for you. Not hunger for the world or anything that's tempting or anything else that may be distracting us, but for you, knowing that you will always fill our hunger and nothing else will. Help us to stay present to you, to your presence, and just carry this moment, your presence with us as we move throughout our day. We love you very much. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Namaste. Thank you so much for always joining me today. I hope that this class brought you lots of joy, lots of glee. If you have any questions about yoga or poses or being in the presence of God or finding the present moment, please feel free to reach out, and I hope to do yoga with you soon.